In a world, a tiny, miniature world that exists only in her imagination.
Thank you for stopping by to see the very first MiniMakerSal video. In this, I'm going to show you a couple minis I've made in the past when I knew next to nothing about constructing miniatures. This will give you an idea of where I'm currently at, and then I'll get started on my next project in my next video. I love to create artistic things, from painting to computer design to building my office furniture. I now will be putting my creative focus on making miniature structures and the things that go in and around them. I had wanted to get going on my new miniature a few weeks ago, but once I decided I'd be making videos of my mini making, I had to spend a bunch of time learning how to make and edit videos and audio files. Thus, I had to put off what will be a much more enjoyable project to me. So let's get into those two past minis. This is a miniature eBay seller's office I made years ago. I did this in 1/12 scale, and it's about 18 inches long. The floor and walls are 7/16 inch black foam board. Recently, I added more thick and thin pieces of foam board to the outside to make it a bit neater. Before I added any furniture, this is what the office looked like. I made the floor with laminated 1-inch pieces of black and white paper and used a clear acrylic medium to seal the floor after I glued it down. I will definitely be figuring out a better way to do tile floors in the future because it's bubbling and looks like crud. Here's a view of the room loaded with the items I made, bought, or was given. Looking at the left side of the office is a door I bought and painted. I bought the red basket and filled it with priority mail packaging with shipping labels that I made up. The guitar and case were something I bought at a dollhouse supply store that was in Tucson pre-pandemic. The shelves are filled with items the mini seller would list on eBay. On the back wall are framed photos of some of my eBay friends and mentors. I made the pajamas for the doll that a friend gave to me. She's sitting on a store-bought desk chair that I painted red. I made these utility shelves out of balsa wood sticks, 1/4 inch wood blocks, and small wire screening. I glued all the pieces together and spray painted it silver. This shows the fronts and backs of 4 LP albums. I folded and taped each album cover and put 1-inch discs in each. A friend lent me her craft cutter to cut the discs. I used those little adhesive color dots to emulate the labels. This miniature is of the first Playboy published in 1953. The inside pages include some early 50s ads and even one of the early Playboy comics, and, of course, the centerfold. More items I printed on my computer. All are copies of real vintage games, except for the Detroit puzzle box I made up in honor of my hometown. Yet some more printed items, sheet music and sewing pattern envelopes. This is the back right of the office. The next few photos will show these things more clearly. I made this desk out of balsa wood. In its drawer is a hanging file folder contraption I made out of wire with a few hanging folders and a bunch of yellow legal pads. Sitting on the computer CPU to the left of the desk is a mini copy of Atlas Shrugged in its original dust jacket design, including the inside flaps. The inner pages have about 375 words summarizing the 1,000-page story in 5.5-point type. This photo shows the folding scheme of the book. A link to a PDF with this mini book and instructions is below. The desk lamp is set on a base of 2 nuts and 1 washer. A jumbo paper clip holds a lamp made of a cut-down frosting cone and is trimmed with wire. I spray painted this silver. The adding machine is another thing I drew on my computer, printed, folded, and taped together. The computer monitor is balsa wood on a button base. I shrunk down a screenshot of my monitor, which features 6-bit, the eBay listings software. The CPU is a painted block of wood to which I pasted a laminated print of what the front and back of it look like. I bought this window frame and painted it. Unfortunately, the photo shows the poor job I did at that. About an inch behind the frame is a photo I took of the house across the street from me. a view I see when I look out the window of my real office, an office that looks nothing like this mini room. A photo studio setup is something many real-life eBay sellers have. The roll of white photo background paper is a bit of adding machine tape on a balsa wood stand. I made the table of balsa wood and covered it with a tablecloth of sorts that I drew on my computer, printed, laminated, taped, and folded. The lamps were fun to figure out. A red outdoor faucet handle serves as the base of each studio light. I attached a pegboard peg to the handle with steel putty, a material I use for many things in real life. At the top, I attached a small halogen light bulb I found at Ace Hardware. By the way, Ace was my go-to place to buy many of the materials and tools I used in making this mini. When I told the employees what I was doing, most of their eyes glazed over in dismay because this was like a dollhouse, not a real building project. Thankfully, Crystal, one of the employees, turned out to be as helpful as the commercials claim, because her dad was a model railroad guy, and she'd grown up with knowing miniatures are a serious venture. Back to the office. I framed the eBay logo and made up tiny posters with many of the logos I had designed for my fellow eBay sellers back when I was a very active eBay seller and designer. On to the shipping area. In addition to the priority mail packaging, I made up a bag of packing peanuts. The pink peanuts are pinhead-sized styrofoam balls one of my crafty friends gave to me. I cut out a portion of a plastic sandwich baggie and used a small piece of heated metal to seal the edges. I scanned the packing tape from one of my full-size rolls and printed it on clear window decal sheets for inkjet printers. I made the center roll for masking tape, then wrapped the cut and sealed strip around it. I did a similar technique for the bubble wrap tube in plastic. To give the bubble appearance, I bound a bunch of toothpicks together, then pressed the plastic down piece by piece, punched tiny holes in it. So, that's my miniature eBay seller's office. A fun project that taught me much, and now, looking at it with a critical eye, inspires me to up my game on future minis I make. This miniature is very rough, but I had an idea for a gardening shed in our yard and threw this together so my husband could see my vision. It's 1/12 scale made of balsa wood, corrugated plastic, paper, and fine screen. I'm embarrassed about how amateurish this looks, but hey, I'm an amateur, so I'll live with it. It really is only for me and is not a show-off piece, but transparency is important to me, so there you have it. Phew, I'm glad this is over so I can get started on some serious mini making. My next bunch of videos will be of a scale model of my 44-year-old kitchen so we can determine how we'd like to remodel it. I hope you'll subscribe to MiniMakerSal so you can be notified when I put up new videos showing my processes. If you have any questions or comments, please submit them below. And please click on the like button. I do have a link below to a couple PDF files of some of the paper goods I did for my mini eBay seller's office, so you can use them if you'd like. Hey, thanks for stopping by, MiniMakerSal.